No time for practice. Just say you better watch out. You better watch out.
You better
No.
watch out.
You better watch out.
You better watch out.
Who doesn't know Santa Claus? That's right, Jewish kids and poor children. But besides that, everyone knows Santa. And abused children. Anyway.
So, Santa Claus is a very unique character in the Western mythos because he has so many stories about him. To help out with this video, and to help streamline this concept, I've recruited other people to help me explore this mythos, as well as dividing Santa's history into a nice, easy to consume list. Before we get into the list, I just want to remind everyone that all of these versions of Santa Claus are not only the same character and canon, but they are all 100% real. No one depiction of Santa Claus is more or less legitimate than any other, and they are all canon. So, here's a top 9 list. Why 9? Because I am lazy.
The Nightmare Before Christmas is a 1993 children's anime about what happens when a goth twink tries to go Christmas shopping. Yes, Jack Skellington decides he can just up and usurp the throne of Kris Kringle just by dressing in red and white. During the events of his movie, to the uninitiated, each holiday lives in a separate dimension pulled away from each other and connected through a series of doors built into trees. The tree door, marked with a pine on oak, leads to the full extent of Christmas Land, a world of snow and color. Children drink hot chocolate and eat candy canes. Elves busily work to manufacture toys for good little children, and Santa, yes, Santa, dutifully double-checks his list. Of course, things go awry when a group of trick-or-treaters, following Jack's lamentful orders, kidnap the Santa Claus and bring him to the world of Halloween and horrors. Being dumped into the lap of Oogie Boogie's torture, Santa stays resilient and does not break. He has a solid fortitude under duress, and when the day is saved by the long, thin hands of the very man who wrecked it, Santa pulls double duty and saves Christmas for everyone. This version of Santa exhibits strength of unwavering courage and unfathomable speed in his quest to right what went wrong, and in true holly jolly fashion meets up with Jack many years down the line. Yes, in Tim Burton's epilogue poem, Santa meets again with Jack and asks him the question on everyone's minds. And would, if you could, turn that mighty clock back to that long fateful night now, think carefully, Jack. Would you do the whole thing all over again, knowing what you know now, knowing what you knew then? And Jack just whispers to him, wouldn't you? I think this speaks volumes on how Santa sees the world after his long life, and seeing how everything plays out. Everyone wants some excitement in their life.
Number 8. Rankin Bass Universe. The Rankin Bass universe is a little tricky to explain, but basically it's all of those older stop-motion Christmas movies. This is where we get more into young Santa's life and journey all the way from when he was born up until his current sagely appearance. The Rankin Bass cinematic universe started with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer in 1964, but that actually takes place near the end of the Santa timeline, so we'll save that for a second. Instead, we'll look at Santa Claus is Coming to Town, their 1970 anime. So Santa starts out like a lot of people, having standard childhoods such as being an orphan, escaping a wizard through the help of animals, and being raised by elves. The Kringle family are a family of toy maker elves, but they don't have anyone to give their toys to. Kris Kringle, as he now calls himself, takes it upon himself as a ginger... God damn it, Brian. I fucking hate you. Can I quit right now? Okay. Takes it upon himself as a ginger twink to try to give toys to children, only to be stopped by the Burgermeister. Burgermeister tries to remind Kris that due to a new FTC ruling, it's illegal to show toys in videos now, and threatens him with a $40,000 fine. So Kris runs away and is assaulted by the Winter Wizard who wants to kill him. Guys, the Rankin Bass universe is a little weird. Kris bribes the wizard with a toy train, which appeals to the wizard's autism, so they become friends. The wizard is like, hey, check this out, and makes a snowball and casts magic on it, allowing him to spy on anyone in the world with it. This snowball is kind of like the magic mirror in Beauty and the Beast, except it is made out of snow and can therefore melt, making it much less useful, and you can only use it in snowy environments. Kris Kringle is still an outlaw with the FTC, decides to be sneaky about giving toys to children, Trojan horsing them into wooden shoes or socks hung over the fireplace to dry out. He goes by his birth name, Claus, because... reasons, and he marries Jessica, this girl he was hanging out with while he ran from the law. Kris and his wife move with the elves to the North Pole, being outside of Burgermeister's legal domain, but still only travel at night. Eventually the Burgermeister lineage falls off, and the Catholic community canonizes Kris as saint, become Saint Nicholas, changing his first name for some reason. So that's how he did most of that. But how did he get his reindeer? So, Rudolph and the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman explains that no one knows about Rudolph because he's some mutant freak. In this movie, the reindeer are able to speak, which of course, the wildest and most unrealistic part of these flying quadrupeds. We also find out that the reindeer are able to fly by their own means, and they live on the North Pole. I want to throw out that Rudolph's special was made in 1964, and due to society advancing the way it has, and unfortunately has a lot of sexist material like saying women are more fragile and can't handle excitement or they will faint.
Number 7, All of the Other Reindeer. This version of Santa is more flexible and willing to accept help from strangers when his reindeer are out of commission. His nose is all fucked up looking. Good movie otherwise. I like it.
Number 6, Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. Like most hit country songs, the one that inspired this movie was about a hit-and-run accident in the Deep South. Unfortunately, Grandma does not die. Jesus, Brian. See, Santa is put on trial for attempted vehicular manslaughter. Oh god, it's Cousin Mel. I hate this movie.
Number 5, Miracle on 34th Street. Of course, that wasn't the only time Santa Claus was put on trial by the US judicial system, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you remember that he should have political amnesty.
That's literally the only thing I know about that movie.
It had the little girl from Matilda in it.
Well, was she Matilda? Did she have magic psychic powers? No.
She had magic Christmas powers, Brian. Go fuck yourself.
Jeez.
Number 4, the Santa Claus universe. Ah yes, here's the linchpin that explains everything. See, there's this Tim Allen movie that explains Santa carries his heart on his sleeve, and if he ever dies, whoever next wears his coat will absorb his soul and shall be reborn in you as the new Santa. This is how we explain how he's been around so long. The most horrifying part about this movie is that every year, Tim Allen will break into your house. Home Improvement, more like Jungle Improvement.
Number 3, Santa Claus in adult animation. Here's where we start getting interesting. Santa Claus has been around in the mythos for so long, he starts appearing in media no longer aimed at children, such as American Dad, Family Guy, South Park, etc. These versions of Santa are usually more stressed out and have ulterior motives, but are still Santa nonetheless. In American Dad, Santa has a feud against the Smith family and comes back every year to try to get revenge from that time Steve shot him. In South Park, Santa can cast magic and was seen doing cocaine a little bit. He also has an axe and fights the evil Christian animals. In Family Guy, Santa was all annoyed because of consumerism, and oh god, this video is so long.
Number 2, the Polar Express. By far the creepiest looking version of Santa was the Tom Hanks one from the Polar Express, not only for his visual appearance, but also due to how he devises ways to only be seen or heard by children. There was going to be more to this section, but my thoughts derailed worse than the Polar Express itself.
And finally, we get to Santa's appearance in mainstream comics. First time we see him in Marvel, I think, was when X-Men discovered the strongest mutant ever. They detected him, not knowing who he was, and they go to him, but they encounter the Brotherhood of Mutants. But Santa, who was the powerful mutant that they detected, transforms the Brotherhood of Mutants in toys, probably some Barbie figurines, deletes the memories of every X-Men about the situation, and X-Men never remember this thing happening. Meaning that he is not only one of the strongest mutants in Marvel, but he actually can turn people into toys and mind destroy multiple mutants, like my uncle did to me when I was a child. He also wields the Infinity Gauntlet in one Marvel arc, or it was just an issue. It's not relevant. He has the Infinity Gauntlet, which, well, I bet you've seen Infinity War. The guy is a total mad lad. In DC Comics, he helps and even goes toe-to-toe with Superman sometimes. And fun fact, in the DC animated universe, Superman gets mad if you mention that Santa isn't real, which is pretty fucking terrifying. Oh, I swear. Santa has also been shown to give Darkseid calls, which it's impressive because, well, Darkseid, it's how to put it? Well, you know how there are 3 dimensions and the 4th dimension is time? Probably not, but it doesn't matter. Well, 5-dimensional characters are not bounded by space and time and can warp reality. Some examples of 5-dimensional characters are Mr. Mystic Splickerick, Bill Cipher, Uncle Grandpa, and Alien X from Ben 10. But Darkseid is way beyond that. He's not bounded by dimensions, which means that he's not only about 5 dimensions, but above infinite dimensions. And the lesson here is not even a cruel ruler of evil, who is probably the concept of evil itself, who isn't bounded by space, time, or dimension, is still getting calls from Santa freaking Claus. So, yeah, Santa is a mad lad, and he will beat your mom and steal your children, and you will thank him for that because he's too strong for you to handle. I mean, I don't think you know the term, so I don't think it matters. Because it's like beyond multiversal.
Okay, cool. Beyond multiversal, got it. Where can people see your channel?
On YouTube.
Thank you. What a great plug. I'm sure this is great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Cracktoon Network. I love your channel. There will be a link down below. Please go subscribe to him. Thank you. In our previous video, How Strong is Ash Ketchum, I asked you guys a question and said I would read the top 5 comments. You guys disappointed me in ways I cannot fully articulate. Let's read some of these comments, shall we?
Vroom, virtual reality or original music said, Misty would wash Ash up in a fight, lol.
Cracktoon Network says,
Best Pokemon is Green Bazooka, Tank Tardle.
No Level Art says, Ash Ketchup throws his Pokemon Yoshi at his meth addict ex-girlfriend, Peach.
Crapshoot says, do you think Ash likes the wonderful taste of oyster loot?
That guy Joe UK says, Ash's best Pokemon was Misty.
And finally, Land-Based Red says Ash's Heracross is my favorite. And that's my favorite answer, by Land-Based Red. Who is me? I wrote that. You guys suck. New question, what's something you hope to get for Christmas, or if you're watching this after Christmas, what did you get? Let me know in the comments down below, and make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Hit a child square in the jaw, and if you hit that bell notification, you can get notified whenever a new video comes out. Thank you, and Happy New.
I want more pornographic material.
So glad we got that.